Hello students, good morning. It's another brand new day. I hope you had a very splendid weekend and I hope all homeworks are done. I've seen some of your homeworks. Good job. I've responded to them. For those of you that have not responded to your homeworks, definitely today you're going to get them. And if you have not done it yet, make sure you please do it. Okay, so last week we learned something about time. I told you to guess it's what time it was. I said it's time for, guess what time it is. And today again it's time to do something, and let's see what time it is. It's time to use timetables. Last week we looked at the face of the clock. We looked at 24-hour time. We looked at there was one more thing I remember. We looked at the difference between the 12 and the 24-hour time. I remember we did that. And by now I saw your homework, so definitely I know you understand that perfectly. If you still have any issues, just let me know. So we're going to be looking at how to use timetables. Okay, I know you've over and over again you've been using timetables, like the schedule for your subjects in the school. What time do we have math? What period do we have English? It's a perfect way of knowing how to use timetables, but let's see if there's anything a little bit different that we may learn from using timetables. Your student book, make sure you get them. Workbook, I know you know it's time for math, so you definitely must have gotten them together. Okay, let's go ahead. Now let's try this warm-up activity. Okay, this is a train trip to Sutherland. And you're going to find out two things for me from this train trip. Of course, from the timetable on the other side, on the right hand side, you can see the timetable of the train trips. So you have an option to pick between different trains. There's train 1, that one leaves now. Train 2 in 15 minutes, train 3 in 30 minutes, train 4 in 38 minutes, and train 5 in 45 minutes. So this can help you to choose the best time to leave. For example, if I'm supposed to get the trip between my house and the train station is going to take say like 35 minutes, then I have no option but to go with the train 4 trip. That's the one that leaves in 38 minutes time, because to get to the train station from my house would take 35 minutes. Then I can quickly, within 3 minutes, join the train. Okay, so here is what I want you to do from this train trip to Sutherland. They all have the same destinations, okay? But there is one of the trips that has a different start point. One of the trips has a different start point. One of the start points is 7:59. The train leaves by 7:59. The other one 8:14. The other one 8:29. The other one 8:37. And the other one 8:44. Okay. All right. Now check for me which of the train trips has a different start point, not start time, start point. For example, it's taking off from a different station. It's taking off from a different train station. Check carefully, you'll be able to find it, because each of them has the name of the start point of the trip and everything has the same end point, Sutherland. So check and let me know. Just write it on a piece of paper and you show it to me on Class Dojo. The second thing, if you have to be in Sutherland for a meeting by 9 p.m., which of the trips is best for you to use? Which of the trips, if you have to be in Sutherland for a meeting by 9 p.m. So check and tell me your answers. Take a picture of it and just send it to me on Class Dojo. Now I'm still waiting for the one I asked you to do last week, the minutes. I told you to convert the time you were viewing the video, convert it to minutes. So I'm still waiting, okay? All right, let's get to the lesson. So our lesson objective today, we have to be able to read the timetable, just like we tried to do now. Use the timetable. Using the timetable is being able to fit into the timetable. Like, how do I plan myself to be able to meet up with the time that the timetable reads? And finally, you need to be able to make schedules using timetables. For example, your study time, you have to be able to make a schedule with a timetable, using the timetable. Let me draw a schedule of how my day is going to be. Okay, so that's our lesson objective. Let's see what we have next. Okay, now this is a perfect one for drawing how your daily schedule is going to be. Now look at this timetable that I have, how to study efficiently. Now this is going to be of much help to you. Okay, it's a timetable. It has the time and it has the activity for each time. Now look at this. To read a timetable, you have to know what it shows. A timetable is going to show you the start time and the stop time of an activity. If it doesn't show you the stop time of an activity, it will show you the start time. And if you know the start time, the next activity you have would definitely tell you what the stop time for the previous activity is. For example, look at this timetable. I wake up by 6 a.m. and do my morning routine. All right. Now, it doesn't have a stop time. But if you look at the next activity, it says do 40 QBank questions. That means I must stop my first activity on or before 8 so that I can get on to the next activity. Okay, so that's what a timetable explains. Second thing, the timetable is going to show you the duration of an activity. For example, between the wake up time and the doing 40 QBank questions time, how many hours is that? 2 hours. So it means you have 2 hours to wake up and do your morning routine. So the timetable also helps you to check the duration of an activity. And just like the timetable for the train trip we checked previously, you'll be able to see the duration. You'll be able to plan your timing. So to read timetables perfectly, just match the time of the activity with the time, the day, or the year that is assigned for the activity. The activity is, for example, it's lunch. Then what time is it's lunch? 12. So that's a perfect way to read the timetable. Match the activity with the time or the day or the year that is assigned for the activity. All right, let's go to the next one. Now let's see how to use timetables. I think here we're going to really, this is where we're going to really look at a bit of things. Now let's use a timetable below. It's showing a bus trip around Manchester City, and we're going to solve some questions with it. I didn't solve the questions because I want us to do it together. Look at the first one. The bus station, it leaves the bus one leaves the bus station 13:05, 13:15, and 13:30. That's the first one. Then look at their trips afterwards. The end points of the trips of each of the buses is the cinemas. All right. Now let's take a look at the questions we have. To enjoy the shortest trip around town, what bus would you travel in? What would you look at? The start time and the stop time for each of the buses. And when you do that, you have to calculate the number of minutes it takes for each bus to start a trip and finish a trip. Let's see bus 1. Bus 1 starts at 13:05 and ends at 14:00 hours. Now, the difference between that is 55 minutes. Of course, 13:05 to 14:05 is 1 hour, but it doesn't end at 14:05. It ends at 14:00. So let's minus the 5 minutes. That means we have 55 minutes. What about the second? It starts at 13:15 hours and ends at 14:15 hours. That's exactly 1 hour. The first one is 55 minutes. Second one is 1 hour. Now let's see this third bus. Starts at 13:30 and ends at 14:10. Okay. Now 13:30 to 14:30 is 1 hour. Okay, but let's take out the excess of 20 minutes from 14:30 because this one stops at 14:10. So if we're saying 13:30 to 14:30, it means there's a 20 minutes excess, right? Okay, let's take out the 20 minutes excess from 1 hour. That means this bus takes 40 minutes only. So what's the best trip to travel, the shortest trip to travel around town? Bus 3. So bus 3 is going to be the best option. I hope we got that right. Let's see the second one. The supermart at the city center is going to close for break at 13:50. Which is the best bus to catch if you have to pick up groceries there? Okay, it's going to close for break by 13:50. Let us see. If I use bus 1, then it means, okay, for bus 1, I need to catch the bus 1 to be at the city center at 13:50. Yes, bus 1 is a perfect one. Let's see bus 2. If we stopped at the bus station and then we started rushing to pick up groceries, bus 2 might not be so nice. Then bus 3, of course, it's already after the break, so it would have been closed. The best option is bus 1, right? Yeah, so we choose bus 1 so that we can catch up with the time to pick up our groceries before the break starts. Now let's see the last one. To see a movie that starts by 14:10 hours, what's the best bus to catch? Let's look at again at bus 1. Bus 1, I have to see a movie that begins by 14:10. Yeah, it's quite a good option. If I take bus 2, it's going to arrive at 14:15. The movie has started. If I take bus 3 equally, it's going to arrive at 14:10. The movie has started. What about the time between when I'll get down at the bus station and get, walk into the cinemas? Okay, so I think the best option for us here is bus 1. You agree with me? Okay, great. Now there's a look at the clock I put up there to calculate the time. That's the reason I put the clock up there. Okay, the green lines we have, you can use it to count the minutes. The hour is all on 1, okay, but the minutes, the first one is on 05, the second one is on that's for bus 1 is on 05, bus 2 is on 15, bus 3 is on 30. So if we're to calculate the time, the distance between the start time and the end time, if we look at the one for 05, it ends at 2, so you can just count all the minutes in between 1 and 12. Okay, the second one at 13:15, just count all the minutes between 3 and again 3. Okay, count all the minutes between 3 all the way to 12, then back to 3. For the last one, you count all the minutes between 6 and all the way to 12, then down to 2, because that's when the 14:10, that's when the third bus is going to arrive. So you can use that, okay, to count the number of minutes. It makes it easy. Okay, so let's see today. What did we learn from Unit 2? We learned to read the timetables. We learned to make our daily schedules using timetables. Just like I said, you can make a daily plan, a daily routine. What's my study time? Then you can go back to that timetable I showed you to be able to study effectively. Make a plan of your timetable and try to follow it. We also learned to calculate the time duration between the start time and the end time using timetables. So this brings us to the end of our lesson for today. Make sure you practice student book 211. Please take a picture, send to me in Class Dojo. I'll correct it. And your workbook is from 193 to 194. Please take a picture also, send it to me. I will equally correct it. Take care of yourselves. Be good. Remember to always wash your hands and sanitize your hands. Eat good food. That means eat healthy, okay? Healthy foods. All right. Till we see you tomorrow again in our next math lesson. Have a nice day. Bye.